is like not bad. Jen, this is actually the first time we met, but I have seen you before, and I'd like to present you with some evidence.
Uh-oh.
Get ready.
I'm ready. Well, look at your cute bangs. This is, where is this?
That's at one of your, I don't know when that is.
Well,
really, it's at one of your signings.
I can tell
don't
by
know
the
which
outfit
one.
that this was per the Pretty and Plaid tour.
Is that what it was?
I can tell by the outfit, yeah.
It was such a long line.
That was in Chicago.
That was in Chicago. I didn't get to meet you, but I did get to meet Fletch.
He looks hammered there, and he
Does he?
Oh, he looks completely hammered there. Yeah, this was such a badly run event. Oh my God.
Was it?
Like, well, nobody came in droves like they did after this event because everyone thought, this is terrible.
I don't think it was terrible. I just think I just think people wanted to see you, and the line was. So this is me. That's my cousin and my friend. We went to the bar next door and had drinks with your book. We took your book to the bar with us.
Oh, that's so cool. But we're here now, so this is good too.
Exactly.
There are a couple of things that are going on in publishing right now. Right now we're losing bookstores, number one, and that's scary. That's scary to people who love bookstores. So my first suggestion is, if you love bookstores, go shop in them. It's okay to download things to your e-reader. It's it's fine to get things from Target. I mean, they're a big supporter of me, but sometimes you have to go to the bookstore because we want them to stick around. So bookstores and publishers have always been very much hand in hand, and there were a couple of the major publishers that were fighting with the major bookstore, and they weren't giving featured space to these publishers because they were trying to renegotiate a contract. And there are some really great writers who had their first books come out, and nobody saw them because they didn't get placement.
Who was
and it's
representing them.
It's terrifying. And the other thing is the rise of self-publishing. If you would have asked me 6-7 years ago and you told me you wanted to self-publish, I would have thought in my own little arrogant head, oh, good for you, sweetie.
Right.
That's not the case now.
Right.
That is there have been so many authors that have proved you can do it outside of traditional publishing. So everybody's trying to figure out where they are right now. And it's a strange time. I believe that people are always going to read, but people read in different styles now.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And what do you think about, speaking of blogs to book, tell me about the difference between your blog and your book. Like, do you think of Jen Sylvania as just solely as a promotional kind of place for your books, or do you would you consider yourself a blogger?
My blog has really changed.
Has it evolved?
I very much used to be a blogger.
Okay.
I don't see people reading blogs like mine so much anymore because I don't specialize. I am not really photo heavy. I don't have a lot of video content. Very visual, people have shorter attention spans now. I mean, people in my demographic, I would say women from like 35 to 50, who's really my target, my core audience, they're very much into Facebook. I know my publisher has done some studies. They have some software that sort of scrapes the web and sees where things are coming from and where people are talking about things. For me, it's Facebook. With most authors, it's Twitter, but for me, it's Facebook. So I concentrate more on putting up like short bursts there, whereas my blog now is more, here's where you can see me, here's where this happens. Because for a long time, I used to put everything on my blog while I was writing a memoir, and then I would take these like small stories from my blog and put them into books. I would maybe write 400 words in the blog and then turn it into the full story, 5,000 words in a book, and it made people mad. They're like, oh, we already read this.
Right. Why buy your book when you can get the blog post for free?
So I didn't want to. Everything I do is fan driven, and I didn't want to make my fans mad. So I don't put a lot on my blog anymore because I save it for books.
Makes sense. Do you read? What about reading blogs? Do you read blogs that you can think of?
There's a lot of blogs I hate read.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to admit that?
I think so.
There's a lot of blogs that I hate read, but then there are some people who I don't hate read, who I've been reading forever and I really love, like the blog Amala.
I don't know that one.
Oh my God, I adore her. I started reading her before she had 3 kids. Now she has 3 kids, and I read her posts about cloth diapering. I don't care about cloth diapering, but she's such a good writer that it's interesting and it's fun. And it's neat to have seen this experience with her.
Yeah.
So there is stuff that I read. Again, most of it hate reading.
about Twisted Sisters?
Twisted Sisters is a fun book, and the reason that I wrote Twisted Sisters is I don't want to say I screwed up on my first novel, but I sort of screwed up on my first novel. When I made the transition to fiction, I thought, okay, I'm going to be a genius, and I'm going to take characters who are essentially my husband and me.
Right, because you guys were renovating your house, and so were Mia and Mac. They were too. So that was one of my questions. Like, why? Okay.
And I'm going to put them in a fictional situation, and everyone will love it. Yeah, you know what? There's a reason that people don't put their real selves into fictional situations, because it confuses readers. So here, in the beginning, my husband and I, like Mac and Mia, made the decision to move to the suburbs, and like the first 3 chapters are like straight out of our life. But when they saw the house from the John Hughes movie and decided to buy it, that's where our paths diverged. But it was confusing for people. People knew that I moved to the North Shore, so they didn't know if I actually bought a house that had been in a movie, and it was frustrating, and I didn't realize how frustrating it was until I read Bethany Frankel's Skinny Dipping.
I haven't read it.
Oh, it's a total Ramona Clef, and it's all about when she was on The Apprentice with Martha Stewart, and it's her whole life, and it made me crazy not knowing what wasn't true.
Right.
So for my second book, I thought, okay, I have to differentiate these because I want to have a career in fiction.
Right.
I still want to do the memoirs, but I have to do something to make them different. So I thought, well, magical realism. No one is going to believe that it's actually me, who is a time-traveling high school mean girl with an obsession with Whitesnake. So that's how that happened, and I created this character, Diva, who is this new age healer, and I had such fun with her character that I wanted to find another way to use her. And I wasn't sure, there's a lot about metaphysics that I don't know, so I thought, well, what is something else that I could do? Like a youth serum, I already did the time travel. What about body swapping? What about Freaky Friday? So I took that scenario, and then I thought, what's interesting to me? I can't write a romance because I will die before I write a sex scene.
Right.
I will die.
I watched you on the Joey Behar show when she asked you I forget what the question was, but it was something like pretty sexual, and I know that you tend to be a little bit more prude, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I would die. I would die 1,000 deaths. So I can't do anything romantic because that always has a sexual element with it if you're writing women's fiction. So I examined the relationships between women, and what's a more interesting relationship between women than sisters. So I took all of these elements and I turned that into Twisted Sisters.